author Mary Gray of MaryGrayBooks.com and Monster Ivy Publishing. This is the fourth installment of the series How to Write Faith-Based Messages in Secular Stories. Today's topic is how to stay resilient against the adversary while considering marketability. As I've joined the writing community this past decade, I've noticed a common, somewhat troubling theme, something I'd like to call the writing religion. Its precept, writing matters more than anything. Now, I love writing as much as anybody, but know what I love more? God and my family. If writing were my religion, then the minute my family walks out the door, I'd be pulling out my computer to write. But you know what I've challenged myself to do instead? To listen to general conference talks, study church lessons, or pull out my scriptures and pray. See, God is my religion, and when I fill up my spirit, I actually have something worth writing. I'm often amazed by those who choose to worship writing, who prioritize it above everything else, sometimes at the expense of their family. But God has promised, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." I believe that. I seek him first, and he gives me what I need. Trouble is, despite our good intentions, every one of us has bad days. The minute we decide to try to put good messages out there, we will be hit by setbacks and the adversary. While I'll go into more detail about what Satan does and why he doesn't want our faith-based messages in the final section of this series, I thought I'd share a few coping mechanisms that have worked for me when I start to feel my resilience slipping. First, it's obvious. I've talked about it a lot already. Read our scriptures and pray. Reading our scriptures gives us good thoughts. These thoughts can go into our writing. They soften our heart, and we can be open and in tune with the Spirit, which can direct our lives. Number two, it's a little more oblique. We should serve our neighbors and forget our troubles in the meantime. There's nothing better than feeling the love of God in our hearts when we open our homes to struggling friends or deliver a plate of cookies. My 9-year-old daughter is the happiest person I know, and it's because she's always smiling and serving others, making drawings, writing notes. She's building friendships with just about everybody. According to a science director at the University of California, Berkeley, the mesolimbic dopamine system linked to addiction also makes people feel pleasure when they give to others. If you measure hormones and activity in the body and the brain when people are being helpful or cooperating, you can see that pleasure happens. We're hardwired to be generous with others. Number three, exercise. Exercise releases endorphins, and endorphins release stress and enhance pleasure. Ever notice how people who go to the gym are annoyingly happy? That's because a physical reaction has happened in their brains. We can have that same physical reaction happen to us too. Exercise. Number four, acknowledge our setbacks in journals, slips of paper, or talk to a trusted friend. Writing down our setbacks allows us to state what actually happened, and if we talk to other people, we can get the validation we need. I heard one woman say she writes her troubles down on a slip of paper before stuffing it into a jar, and she doesn't even bother ever looking at it again, but she knows she acknowledged it, and then she's able to move on relatively quickly. The thing is, Satan wants us to feel defeated, to procrastinate. He wants us to nurse our wounds for as long as possible because that means we're not being proactive against his regime. Of course, we need to take care of ourselves. Even Jesus knew there were times to weep. But how much more fierce can we be if we decide to be his soldiers even more of the time? Finally, a word about marketability. Some of us who want to write faith-based messages and secular stories don't know if there's even an audience. Where's everybody hiding? Still, many of us fear that the churchy people will read church books when they want it, and non-churchy people will avoid our faith-based messages completely. I do know of one literary agency, which actually used to represent me, that represents Christian authors who write for both Christian and secular markets. Their doors are often open to submissions, so that might be a choice for you to take. It's called Golden Wheat Literary. My sister, Cami Larson, and I are currently building our own small press, Monster Ivy Publishing, which will publish edgy young adult fiction with Christian themes. We're not open to submissions yet, though, and we do plan to open our doors in the future. We won't be able to take on everyone we want, but we will do the best we can. You can self-publish, or as many of us are saying, independently publish, as the cool kids are doing, many say. Independently publishing is getting easier and easier. And if you want to learn the ropes, I highly recommend Joanna Penn's website with resources and tips. Her podcast is great. What I truly believe is there are many of us out there who crave these types of stories, but we need to find our pavilion, band together, and speak. We could create book bundles where we sell our books together if they match in genre and audience. We can cross-promote and build our mailing lists because that's how we'll sell to our readership directly. In short, I believe there's a market. We simply need to fan the flame. I'm young adult author Mary Gray of MaryGrayBooks.com and Monster Ivy Publishing. This video has been about how to stay resilient against the adversary while considering marketability. Next week, I'll be bookending the series with a final warning and a bit of encouragement while we endeavor to do this great work. That final segment is called Satan Doesn't Want Your Faith-Based Stories. So don't forget to watch. See you next week.